The galaxy had always feared the Galactic Council. Their voice was law, their fleets were iron. No world dared to resist when they gave an order. Planets that disobeyed were turned into silent ashes drifting in space. So when the message came, to Earth, most alien races already began mourning. They believed the humans had no chance. The ultimatum was short, cruel, and final. A giant holographic image appeared in the skies of Earth. It showed the face of the High Speaker of the Council. His skin glowed with scales, his golden eyes sharp as blades. His voice thundered across every city, every village, every home. "Humans of Earth," he declared, "the Council has judged you dangerous. Your growth is uncontrolled, your weapons unstable, your nature violent. You will surrender, you will give up your fleets, your armies, and your future. Refuse, and Earth will be erased." The word spread faster than fire. Children stopped playing, farmers froze in the fields. Workers in mines and offices stared at the glowing sky. Entire families huddled together, expecting screams, panic, and tears. But instead something strange happened: laughter. It started small. A soldier in a base smirked and chuckled. A teacher in a classroom let out a nervous laugh. A group of children giggled as if the threat was nothing but a joke. Soon, entire streets were filled with laughter, from New York to Nairobi, from Moscow to Mumbai, from deserts to islands. Humans laughed at the Council's ultimatum. Across the galaxy, hidden observers from other races watched in shock. "Are they insane?" one alien whispered in fear. "They should be begging, they should be crying." Another said, "Why do they laugh?" But humanity's laughter was not madness. It was memory. Humans remembered their history. They had survived the ice ages, famines, plagues, and wars that burned half the planet. They had looked into extinction's eyes many times before and still walked forward. Their story was written in struggle. Their blood carried resilience. The High Speaker paused in confusion. His voice grew colder, sharper. "You dare to mock the Council? Do you not understand the power we hold? We crushed empires before you crawled from your oceans. Yet the cameras caught something unforgettable. In one crowded city square, a young human boy, no older than 12, looked up at the Council's image and shouted, 'Then try it. We will never kneel.'" The square erupted in cheers. The boy's voice spread through social feeds. His defiance became a symbol. Even when the Council repeated their threats, the humans only smiled. In secret chambers across Earth, leaders met: generals, scientists, and old veterans of wars. They did not argue about surrender. No one even suggested it. Instead, they spoke quietly about preparation, hidden projects, and the time that had finally come. One general, his face scarred and voice calm, whispered, "They think we are weak because we do not show our weapons. Let them believe it. Their pride will blind them. And when the time comes, they will see what humanity truly is." Meanwhile, in deep space, Council fleets were already gathering. Hundreds of warships, shining with alien technology, formed a wall of fire near the edges of the solar system. Their commanders expected Earth to kneel before they even arrived. To them, humanity was a primitive world, too young, too fragile to resist, but inside human hearts burned something the Council had never faced: defiance. Back on Earth, the Council's hologram flickered one last time. The High Speaker raised his clawed hand and spoke the final line of the ultimatum: "You have 7 cycles of your sun to decide, surrender or face extinction." Then the hologram vanished. Silence fell for a moment. But once again, laughter returned, this time louder, stronger, united, as if the entire planet was laughing at the threat of gods. In the shadows of that laughter, strange movements began. Submarines carried sealed cargo deep into the oceans. Satellites adjusted their positions. Energy fields pulsed quietly underground. No one outside Earth understood, but the humans knew. Their time of hiding was ending. A reporter asked an old veteran why people were laughing instead of fearing. The veteran smiled, his eyes like steel. "Because fear is for those who have already lost. Humanity has not lost, not yet. And we don't plan to. Not now, not ever." Galactic eyes widened. For the first time in centuries, the Council's enemies whispered, Perhaps Earth is different. Perhaps they are not like us, but for the Council, there was only anger. They prepared their fleets with confidence, unaware that their ultimatum had awakened something dangerous. Humanity had been threatened many times before. But this time, the galaxy would see what happens when Earth is pushed too far. The ultimatum was given, the countdown had begun, and the universe would soon learn why humans laughed. The ultimatum echoed across the stars, but Earth did not tremble. Instead, whispers of old memories stirred. Stories of pain, survival, and defiance rose like ghosts from humanity's past. While the Galactic Council prepared their fleets, humanity prepared something older, something far stronger. In a quiet library beneath London, historians gathered with military officers. They spread ancient books and digital files across a long table. Their purpose was simple: to remind the new generation why humans never bowed. One historian, an old woman with white hair, read aloud, "Centuries ago, plagues swept across our world. Millions perished, yet humanity endured. Wars shattered nations, yet we rebuilt. Meteors threatened us, yet we rose again." She looked at the officers and smiled bitterly. "We are not a race of surrender. We are a race of scars." The officers nodded. They understood. Humanity's strength was not in numbers or weapons alone. It was in something no other species carried, an unbreakable will. In a secret chamber under the Rocky Mountains, generals, scientists, and leaders of nations met. Their voices were low, but their eyes burned. "The Council believes we are children," one general said, his scarred hand clenched into a fist. "Let them believe it, but we know the truth. We have prepared for this moment for generations." A scientist adjusted his glasses. "Our hidden projects are ready. Some will not believe until they see. But trust me, the fire is waiting." His words carried weight. For decades, humanity had been quietly building weapons the galaxy had never imagined. Not to conquer, but to defend, to ensure no one could ever chain Earth. Meanwhile, across the world, ordinary people remembered their struggles. Farmers recalled how their ancestors grew food from barren lands. Soldiers remembered how small armies once fought vast empires. Survivors of disasters remembered standing when everything around them was ash. These memories were not weakness. They were fuel, and the laughter that once confused the galaxy became a symbol of something terrifying: confidence. On distant alien worlds, beings debated in fear. Why do humans laugh? One asked because they are mad, another suggested, or because they know something we do not. A third whispered. That thought spread like wildfire, planting fear where once there was arrogance. Back on Earth, the boy who shouted it, the Council became a sudden symbol. His face spread across every network, his words repeated again and again. "Then try it. We will never kneel." His courage inspired millions. Even soldiers on distant human bases began painting those words onto their armor and ships. But inside the Council chambers, there was rage. "They mock us," the High Speaker roared. "A primitive world dares to laugh at our command. We will crush them so completely that no one will ever resist again." The Council agreed, blinded by pride. Yet in their anger, they did not notice the shifting winds, because beyond their vision, small sparks of rebellion lit up. Alien races who had long suffered under the Council's rule watched Earth with new hope. They saw a world that refused to bow, and for the first time they whispered, "If humans can resist, maybe we can too." Still, for humanity, it was not about inspiring others, it was survival. In the deserts of Nevada, a massive hangar opened under the night sky. A colossal shape rested inside, covered in black sheets. Engineers worked silently, their eyes filled with both fear and pride. "Will it work?" one whispered. The chief engineer only replied, "It was built from our pain, it will burn with our fire." Far under the oceans, submarines carried hidden machines to secret trenches. Pilots trained in simulators unlike anything the Council could imagine. Old veterans drilled young recruits, reminding them that victory was not about strength of arms alone. It was about heart. Everywhere on Earth, Preparations moved in silence. The people of Earth were not preparing to surrender. They were preparing to unleash, but amidst this fire humanity remembered its old wounds. The scars of Hiroshima, of burning cities, of innocent lives lost in endless wars. Leaders reminded their people, "We will fight, but we will not become monsters. We know the pain of destruction. We know the value of peace. That is why we will endure. That is why we will not kneel." The countdown given by the council continued. 7 cycles of the sun. 6, 5. Every day the council tightened their fleets, every day. Earth grew more silent, as if waiting, as if daring the galaxy to test them. On the 6th day, the council sent spies. They expected to find weakness. Instead, they found humans smiling, drinking coffee, working in factories, singing in streets. Why are they not afraid? The spies asked. But the humans only laughed and said, "Because we are already fire." The old wounds of humanity had become new fire. A fire that no ultimatum could extinguish. And while the galaxy prepared for Earth's surrender, Earth prepared for the opposite. The storm was coming, and the galaxy had no idea how much heat humanity could bring. The Galactic Council had always believed in their power. For centuries, no species had dared to resist them. Worlds that questioned their rule were erased. Entire civilizations had been turned into nothing but smoke. To the Council, Earth was only another name on the long list of conquered planets. So, when the fleets arrived at the edge of the solar system, there was no hesitation. Hundreds of warships hovered like a wall of steel. Their glowing cannons pointed toward the blue planet. Alien admirals smiled coldly. They expected surrender before a single shot was fired, but what they found confused them. Scanners showed Earth quiet. Too quiet. There were no massive armies mobilizing, no vast space defenses, no planetary shields stretching into the sky, just silence, only cities glowing faintly on the surface and ships moving normally in orbit. It looked almost defenseless. "Is this truly the human world?" one commander muttered. His insect-like mandibles clicked nervously. "They look unprepared." Another laughed. Perhaps the laughter we heard was nothing but madness. They know they are doomed. Yet when the admirals reported back to the council chamber, unease spread. Some of the elder counselors frowned. "It is too calm," one whispered. "Too still, like prey that waits for the predator." But the high speaker silenced them with a growl. "It does not matter. Within hours they will kneel." The Gi. Order was given. The first fleet advanced toward Jupiter. Their mission was simple: establish a forward base, cut human communication, and block Earth from escape routes. The fleet moved confidently, their engines blazing across the cold black void, and then nothing. One moment, the fleet was on every screen. Thousands of eyes across the galaxy watched. The next moment, they were gone, not destroyed with fire, not torn apart by battle, simply gone. Shockwaves rippled through the council chambers. "Where are they?" demanded the high speaker. "What happened to the fleet?" Technicians scrambled, scanning, recalibrating, searching for debris. But there was none. No wreckage, no signals, not even the faint echo of destroyed ships. It was as if the entire fleet had vanished into the void. Panic whispered through the galaxy. Alien citizens who had tuned in expecting a spectacle of human defeat now whispered in fear. How can a fleet vanish? Who can erase them so silently? Back on Earth, humans continued their strange routine. Children went to school, farmers worked in fields, engineers laughed over cups of coffee. To the outside observer, nothing seemed unusual, but deep beneath the surface, eyes gleamed with quiet satisfaction. For humanity knew exactly what had happened. Hidden beneath Jupiter's swirling storms, something had awoken, a defense older than the council realized, a secret project buried in silence. Human. Scientists had created weapons that did not roar with fire but erased with precision. The first strike had not been a battle. It had been a warning. The council, however, refused to see it as such. "It must have been an accident," one admiral said, his voice trembling. "Some cosmic event, a black hole, an anomaly." The High Speaker slammed his clawed hand on the table. Do not speak of accidents. The humans mock us. They toy with us. Send the second fleet. And so, the second wave of ships advanced, this time twice as many. Their formation stretched like a steel net across space, cannons powered up, ready to burn entire continents if needed. Let us see them laugh now, sneered one commander, and Earth did not react. No shields raised, no fleets launched, only silence. Then, as the alien ships crossed Saturn's orbit, a faint hum echoed across their systems. Lights flickered, engines stuttered, weapons refused to respond, pilots screamed. Into comms, something is inside our systems, something is controlling us. One by one, ships began to turn, not against Earth, but against each other. Cannons fired blindly, cruisers collided, dreadnoughts split open like eggs. The Council fleet tore itself apart without a single human firing a visible shot. From the Council's perspective, it was madness. They are destroying themselves. One counselor shouted, impossible, how? But on Earth, deep in underground facilities, human technicians watched calmly. Fingers danced over consoles, voices steady. Targeting complete. Let the system run itself. The second fleet was gone within minutes. The galaxy watched in horror. Not a single human vessel had lifted from Earth. Not one visible defense had been activated, and yet 2 fleets of the mighty Council had vanished. Fear spread like poison. On distant worlds, people began to whisper, the humans hide something, something worse than death, something even the Council cannot fight. Some even dared to hope. Perhaps the age of the Council is ending, but in the Council chambers rage boiled. The High Speaker's voice thundered, they dare humiliate us, twice. Then we shall bring everything. We shall bring the full wrath of the Council upon them. His eyes glowed with fury. No more games. We will crush Earth until even their ashes beg for mercy. Yet the fear in the chamber was undeniable. The strongest empire in the galaxy had just been struck blind twice, and humanity had not even revealed its face. Somewhere deep beneath Earth's oceans, a sound stirred, a vibration like a heartbeat. A massive shadow moved in the darkness, waiting. Humanity was not finished. The real war had not even begun. And soon, the Council would face their true shock, not fleets vanishing, not systems collapsing, but something far worse, something rising beneath. The endless waves of Earth's oceans, silence ruled. For centuries, submarines had drifted through the dark waters, but few knew of the secret hidden in the blackest depths. It was not a fortress, not a simple weapon. It was something far larger, something built in whispers and shadows. The humans called it many names during its creation. Project Leviathan, the Silent Hope, the Iron Grave, but to those who had seen its core, it had only one title, the Dreadnought. While the Galactic Council raged and sent their fleets to die, deep currents carried the awakening of this hidden monster. Engineers worked in silence, their faces pale from sleepless nights. The sound of the ocean pressing against steel walls echoed like a heartbeat. Status report, a general demanded. His voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed urgency. The lead engineer looked at him, sweat dripping down his forehead. The systems are ready. All tests complete, but once we wake it, there is no going back. The general nodded. We already crossed the line when they threatened us. Do it. A single switch was pulled. Lights flickered. Enormous machines groaned. The ocean around the hidden dock shook as if the sea itself resisted slowly. Impossibly, the water began to glow with strange energy. Something massive was moving. Above the waves, fishermen far from land felt the sudden tremor. Boats rocked violently, compasses spun, and a deep vibration rumbled from beneath. What is that? One whispered, staring at the dark horizon. No answer came, only silence. Then, the ocean split. From the abyss, a shadow rose. Its surface broke the waves like a mountain rising from nowhere. Steel glistened under the moonlight. Towers and cannons unfolded, and weapons hummed with unearthly power. The water crashed against its hull, but it did not sink. It rose higher and higher until the full body of the dreadnought stood revealed. It was colossal, larger than any ship the galaxy had ever seen. Its hull carried scars, not from battle, but from its creation, as if the builders had carved their own pain into it. Energy pulsed along lines engraved deep into its frame, glowing red, then blue, then white. A monstrous weapon disguised as a planet's heart. The Council's spies saw it first. Their small cloaked vessels watched in horror as the Leviathan rose. "It cannot be," one whispered. "No world has ever built something like this." They scrambled to send messages, but their signals were cut. Their final images showed the dreadnought's cannons opening like eyes glowing with terrible light. Back in the council chambers, the reports arrived too late. Screens lit up with the impossible, an ocean splitting. A warship the size of a city, rising as if the sea itself obeyed humanity. The counselors froze. Some gasped, some denied. "It is fake. It must be an illusion." But no denial could erase the truth. On Earth, crowds gathered along the shores, their eyes wide as they saw the beast emerge from the sea. Many fell silent, others cheered, some cried, not in fear but in pride. For this was not just a weapon, this was a symbol. The boy who once shouted at the council stood among the crowd. He gripped his mother's hand and whispered, "That's why we laughed." His mother smiled through her tears. Inside the dreadnought, crews took their stations, pilots strapped in, engineers aligned energy cores. Commanders watched glowing maps of the council fleets. The air was heavy, thick with tension, but also with something else. Confidence. "Do you hear that?" One officer asked quietly. His fellow nodded. "Yes, the ship is alive." For within the walls, the engines did not sound like machines. They roared like something breathing, something ancient, something human. Above the seas, storm clouds gathered as if nature itself bent before the ship. Lightning flashed across the sky, striking the dreadnought's armored frame. But instead of breaking it, the ship absorbed the energy, glowing brighter. From space, council fleets detected the surge. Sensors screamed, alarms blared, unidentified energy reading. Commanders shouted, "It's coming from Earth. A massive structure is rising." When the first images appeared on their screens, many commanders fell into silence. For the first time in centuries, the mighty council fleets felt fear. On Earth, the dreadnought's engines roared. Waves smashed outward in massive walls of water, shaking coastlines. Birds scattered into the sky. Animals cried from forests. It was as if the whole planet was announcing its awakening. A message was sent across all frequencies. It was not the council speaking this time. It was humanity. The screen flickered, showing the inside of the dreadnought's command deck. A human commander stood tall, his uniform plain, but his eyes like fire. He did not shout. He did not threaten. He simply spoke in calm words. "You gave us an ultimatum," he said. "Now here is ours. Leave Earth, leave humanity, or see what happens when we stop laughing." The feed ended. Silence filled the galaxy. On alien worlds, billions watched. Some cheered, some prayed, some trembled. For the first time, someone had answered the council with defiance backed by power. And in the council chambers, silence broke into panic. The high speaker slammed his claw against the table. Impossible. They were primitive. How could they build this? His voice cracked not with anger alone, but with fear. The dreadnought floated above the seas like a mountain of fire and steel. Its cannons pointed not outward yet, but waiting. Humanity had finally revealed its hand, and the galaxy would never laugh the same way again. The dreadnought floated above the ocean like a mountain of steel and fire. Waves still crashed against its massive hull. Lightning still danced along its surface. But inside, silence ruled. The crew waited, hands steady on controls, eyes locked, on the maps that showed the council's fleets drawing closer. Across the solar system, thousands of alien warships advanced, their formations stretched like nets of fire across the stars. Every dreadnought, every cruiser, every fighter was armed and ready. The council believed they were unstoppable. "They cannot resist this," one alien commander said, his mandibles clicking. "Not even their strange ship can hold against us." Another admiral agreed. It will be over in moments. The galaxy will see the end of human arrogance, but Earth's people were not afraid. From the command deck of the dreadnought, the human commander stood tall. His voice was calm. They believe we will bow. They believe our ship is our only weapon. He looked around at his crew, each face hard as stone. But they don't understand. The ship is not the weapon. We are. The order came. The dreadnought's engines roared. Oceans split wider as the colossal vessel rose fully into the sky. Clouds swirled around its hull as if pulled by its power. The ship's cannons began to glow, not with fire, but with something deeper, something unknown to the galaxy. In orbit, Council fleets prepared. Thousands of cannons locked on the rising warship, missiles armed, energy lances charged, target acquired. The alien computers reported. "Prepare to fire on my command," shouted the admiral. Then, the first shot came, not from the Council, but from Earth. The dreadnought's main cannon opened like an eye, glowing white-hot. Energy gathered until the sky itself trembled, and with a sound like thunder tearing reality apart, the cannon fired. A beam of pure energy streaked upward, cutting across space in an instant. It struck the Council's lead dreadnought, one of the largest war machines in the galaxy. The alien ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, shattered into dust, erased in a single strike. The galaxy gasped. On alien worlds, billions watched through broadcasts. Their jaws fell open. Never had they seen a Council dreadnought fall so quickly. The impossible had happened. Inside the Council fleet, panic erupted. "Impossible! One shot!" cried a pilot. "We've lost command!" screamed another. The formation broke. Ships scrambled. But the dreadnought's cannons fired again and again. Each blast cut through fleets like paper. Cruisers disintegrated. Carriers vanished. Fighters evaporated in clouds of fire. The Council's mighty army, feared for centuries, was being shredded in minutes, but the dreadnought was not finished. Smaller weapons along its hull opened fire. Thousands of guided projectiles launched into the void. They did not fly blindly. They hunted, weaving between ships, slipping past, shields striking with terrifying precision. Alien captains screamed as their vessels tore apart from within. "Retreat! Retreat!" shouted one commander, but their engines refused to respond. For hidden in the chaos, human systems hacked through alien controls. Ships turned against each other, blasting their own allies. Confusion grew, despair spread. From Earth, the people watched the skies light up. Not with fear, but with awe. Children pointed to the heavens, cheering. Families cried tears of pride. The boy who once shouted at the Council whispered again, "I told you, we will never kneel." The first strike was more than a battle. It was a message. Humanity had not only risen, they had shattered. The myth of the Council's invincibility, but the dreadnought was not merciless amid the destruction. Some ships attempted to flee. The human commander gave a quiet order. "Let them go. They will carry the story." The dreadnought's cannons went silent for a moment. The survivors escaped, trembling, carrying tales of fire and death to the galaxy. Back in the Council chambers, chaos reigned. Councilors shouted. Some demanded immediate withdrawal. Others screamed for vengeance. The High Speaker's golden eyes burned with rage, but beneath the fury was fear. He slammed his clawed hand down. "This is not over. Humanity cannot stand against all of us." But deep inside, even he knew. Something had changed. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible. A single human ship had destroyed fleets meant to erase a world, and they had done it not with desperation, but with laughter, with confidence, as the wreckage of alien ships drifted across the void. The dreadnought floated in silence, its cannons cooling, its engines humming like the breath of a beast at rest. The human commander looked out the viewport, his eyes hard. "This was only the beginning," he whispered. The galaxy shivered, because if this was only the beginning, no one knew what the end would look like. And somewhere, far beyond Earth, oppressed species whispered to each other in the dark. If humans can strike the Council, then maybe, just maybe we can too. The first strike had been fired. The Council's fleets were broken. Humanity stood tall, and the universe would never be the same again. The battle was over, but its echo rolled across the galaxy like thunder. For centuries, the Galactic Council's fleets had been seen as eternal, undefeatable. Their very name had been enough to silence rebellions before they began. But now, the impossible had happened. One human warship had shattered them in minutes. The wreckage of alien ships still drifted near Saturn's orbit, broken hulls glowing faintly as they burned. Council commanders who survived fled in silence, their eyes wide, their voices trembling. They carried no victory, only fear, and that fear spread faster than any weapon. On distant alien worlds, people gathered in markets, taverns, and glowing hollow halls to whisper, "Did you hear? The humans destroyed them," one voice said. "No, not destroyed, erased," another corrected. Their strongest dreadnought was gone in one shot. Others leaned in, lowering their voices. They laughed at the Council, and then they killed their fleets. For the first time in living memory, the Council's aura of invincibility cracked. The galaxy had always believed the Council's power eternal. Now cracks ran through that illusion, and in those cracks grew something dangerous: hope. But in the Council chambers, hope was not the word. It was rage. The High Speaker's golden eyes burned as he slammed his clawed hand against the great stone table. "They dare humiliate us before the stars?" He roared. His voice echoed through the chamber, trembling even his fellow councillors. This infestation must be purged. Yet some councillors shifted uneasily in their seats. One elder with silver skin whispered, "We sent 2 fleets, and they vanished. We sent a third, and it was slaughtered. How many more must we lose before we admit? Something about humans is different." The High Speaker turned on him. "Different? They are vermin with toys, nothing more." But deep down, even he felt the shadow of doubt. Across the stars, the message spread in ways the Council could not stop. Survivors of the battle carried tales of fire and light. Broadcasts replayed the moment the dreadnought rose from the ocean. Every corner of the galaxy heard the human commander's words. "You gave us an ultimatum, now here is ours." Children of alien slaves repeated those words in whispers before sleep. Soldiers under Council chains carved them onto walls. Leaders of oppressed worlds sat in silence, wondering if perhaps the age of fear was ending. On Earth, humanity watched. The news reports with calm pride. Crowds filled streets, not celebrating wildly but standing shoulder to shoulder, quiet, determined, as if they all shared one thought. This is only the beginning. The boy whose voice had defied the Council became a legend overnight. Images of him shouting, "We will never kneel," spread across the stars. Even species who had never met a human before spoke of the boy as if he carried the fire of Earth itself. But fear was not only among the weak, it spread through the mighty too, on a warship orbiting a Council capital world. An alien admiral paced restlessly. His scales shivered. "If one ship can erase fleets, what happens when they build more?" he whispered. His crew remained silent, afraid to answer. In the back alleys of the Council's grand city, smugglers, rebels, and thieves shared drinks while whispering, "The Council bleeds. The humans made them bleed. This changes everything." For those who had lived their entire lives in chains, fear of the Council shifted into fear of something new. What if the humans were not just fighters but liberators? Meanwhile, inside the dreadnought itself, the crew worked in silence. Weapons cooled, systems recharged, repairs were made, but no cheers erupted. The commander stood at the viewport, watching the stars. "They will come again," he said softly. "They cannot let this go." His second officer nodded. "And when they do?" The commander's eyes hardened. "Then we show them what Earth truly is. The first strike was a warning, the next will be the lesson." Back in the Council chamber, the High Speaker tried to calm the storm. "We are the rulers of this galaxy. We will not be mocked by primitives." But even his strongest words sounded hollow. His counselors avoided his gaze, their thoughts already poisoned by doubt. Fear had always been the Council's weapon, but now, fear belonged to the humans. The galaxy had seen Earth laugh at death. The galaxy had seen Earth rise from the sea with fire. The galaxy had seen the Council beaten, and whispers grew louder with each passing hour. If humans fight for themselves, will they fight for us too? Will they bring their fire against our chains? The council tried to crush those whispers with propaganda, declaring the humans monsters, demons, destroyers of peace. But the truth could not be erased. Millions had seen the fleets burn. Millions had heard the humans' calm voice, and so in hidden places where slaves prayed and rebels planned, a new word spread. Hope. The council had meant to frighten Earth into submission. Instead, they had frightened the galaxy into rebellion, and at the center of it all, above Earth's blue seas, the dreadnought floated like a mountain of fire, silent, waiting, reminding everyone who looked upon it that the age of fear was ending. The fear had spread, but this time, it belonged to the council. The galaxy had changed. The council did not admit it, but every star system felt it. Fear no longer flowed only from the council. It now circled back toward them. The fleets that once crushed resistance without effort were gone, shattered by a single human dreadnought, and, across distant worlds, whispers grew. Some were filled with wonder. Humans defied the council, some with terror. If they can destroy fleets, what else can they do? But in many voices, hope was louder than fear. On Earth, the dreadnought rested above the seas, a silent guardian. Its cannons no longer glowed, but the memory of their fire still burned across the stars. Inside its walls, the crew remained ready, watchful, knowing the council would return. One evening, the commander stood at the viewport. The ocean reflected the ship's lights below. He closed his eyes for a moment and whispered, "This is not just about us anymore." His second officer glanced at him. "What do you mean, sir?" The commander opened his eyes, hard and steady. "Every oppressed race in the galaxy is watching us now. They see us stand. They believe they can stand too. We cannot fight for ourselves alone. If we do, we are no better than those who ruled." Through fear, the word spread through the ship, then across Earth. Leaders debated fiercely. Some feared involvement. "We cannot fight everyone's wars," one argued. Others saw truth. "If we fight alone, we will be alone forever." The decision came not from leaders alone, but from the people. In crowded streets, voices rose. "If they come for us, they will come for others too. We are stronger together. We will not be slaves, and we will not let others remain slaves." Meanwhile, the council gathered in secret. Their pride was wounded, their anger hot, but their fear greater. They demanded new strategies, new weapons. Some even suggested retreat. But retreat meant weakness, and weakness meant losing control. The High Speaker snarled, "If the humans inspire rebellion, the galaxy will burn. We must strike again, harder, faster." Yet even as he spoke, he knew every strike they made now was no longer strength, it was desperation. Far away on a mining world enslaved for generations, a small girl looked up at the night sky. Her people whispered stories of the humans. Her father told her. They stood when no one else would. They laughed at death itself. The girl smiled for the first time in years. One day they will come for us too. Back on Earth, a transmission arrived. Not from the council, but from a world no one expected. A small species long forgotten reached out, their voices trembled. "Humans, help us. The council bleeds us dry, our children die. We do not ask for war, only stand with us." The commander listened. His crew waited in silence. Finally, he replied, "We are not conquerors. We will not rule you, but we will stand with you always." Those words echoed, a new promise not of dominance but of unity. The galaxy had heard ultimatums before, all filled with fear. But now they heard something different, something dangerous for tyrants. Hope wrapped in defiance. The council tried to drown it out with threats. They broadcast warnings calling humans reckless, unstable, dangerous. But the more they shouted, the less the galaxy believed them. The more they spread fear, the more humans spread courage, and courage spread faster. On Earth, the dreadnought prepared again. Crews loaded supplies, engineers worked, children painted symbols of fire on its hull, not as marks of war, but as reminders that humanity's flame was for everyone. As the countdown to the next confrontation began, the commander gathered his crew. "We are humans," he said, his voice steady. We do not kneel, we do not run, but more than that, we do not stand alone. The galaxy must know that when they rise, we rise with them. That is our promise, with you always. The crew roared in response. Their voices thundered through the steel halls, and somewhere far beyond Earth, in hidden caves and dark cellars, across enslaved worlds and broken colonies, beings repeated those words, with you always. They whispered them as prayers, as songs, as sparks of rebellion. The Council still had fleets, armies, and weapons, but for the first time they faced something they could not crush with fire. An idea, and ideas are harder to kill than ships. The dreadnought lifted again, rising into the skies. Its engines glowed like suns. The ocean roared below. The stars above waited. Humanity was no longer a world begging for mercy. Humanity had become a beacon. The Council had given an ultimatum. Earth had answered with laughter. Now Earth gave a promise, simple, defiant, eternal. With you always, and the galaxy would never forget it.